Boards and swords.
Double click, make it
Words. Words.
Mike,
Golf carts that have Welcome to the MCCL Week 6. A couple of roster changes as the Roses have traded away Robert Corsmo to the Corsairs and Amy Lightfoot to the Celts.
Roses fans are very disappointed that the team is throwing in the towel before the season is over by
Both
trading
of
away
them. Both of them very disappointed.
Yep. David Schneider
Has indeed been picked up by the Legion. Joins the team that beat him last year, causing his meltdown.
God, I love having Steve here. He had a great showing his first week in the Legion, but before we go there, let's see how the rest of the league fared this week.
Starting at the bottom, the Templars versus the Roses. Another defeat for the Roses. They may be shut out completely this season, as next week they're playing the probably postseason-bound Cavaliers.
The Templars are struggling to stay out of the bottom of the roster this season. The Templars' new king, Robert Hubbard, has really managed to turn the team around ever since Dave Snyder's departure. The team has won both matches with Hubbard as their leader, and with a lack of David Snyder's
meltdown.
Roses again fight well, but don't come up with the win.
They lose in checkmate after just an hour and 17 minutes of play. Next up, the Corsairs versus the Celts. Both teams 4-1 going in. The Corsairs 5-1 coming out of it.
Another important matchup. This will probably be the precursor to the second and third place bouts in the semifinals contest. Both teams are vying for second place finish, which would grant them the home board advantage in the semifinals.
Corsairs had a great showing from their pawns this match. Callie Miners won 2 bouts. Lee Yenrick and Rachel Bigelow each winning 1. The tremendous piece advantage for the Corsairs.
Celts king Brady Huffman manages to fend off 2 attacks, but finally falls to the Corsairs queen Meredith Larson. What a way to go.
Her second year only in the Midwest Combat Chess League. She's had a fantastic season. Started off as a bishop for the Corsairs, but was quickly promoted to queen. After her 3 wins tonight, she is 10-3 this season. Banshees versus the Cavaliers. Banshees still cannot string together a win to save their souls.
The Cavaliers dominated this matchup as the struggling Banshees just can't seem to have any kind of chess strategy hold together.
Cavaliers had 2 4-bout winning streaks in the match, leaving the Banshees far behind in terms of material, and the Banshees' king, Edward Johnson, was defeated in personal combat. Horrible.
Yet again.
And finally, there was much joy in Mudville. The Legion finally take down the Dragon Juggernaut.
An incredibly long match, over 2.5 hours long, lasted the full 31 possible fights.
The chess game ended in stalemate with only the 2 kings on the board. We've not seen this since the 2007 semi-final match between the Roses and the Valkyries.
Legion's king, Nora Sachs, defeated the Dragon's king, Phil Montgomery, using small sword in an epic 5-minute bout.
As mentioned earlier, Dave Schneider, who is now a bishop for the Legion, won a pair of bouts for the Legion today. He seems to be getting along very well with the team. It was a great acquisition, and he has not seemed to have any more meltdown. Player of the game was Mike Lubke, the Legion's queen. He fought in 5 fights, and he won the first 4. He's an excellent fighter and should be a tremendous asset.
Nora Sachs commented on the victory, saying this is the win that the Legion needed to propel them back into the championship. They had a rocky start, but they're back on the road to victory. All right, and joining me here today is Mike Lubke, here to talk about the game with the Dragons versus the Legion. So, Mike, how is the transition going for you, stepping down from the king and being queen?
It's been a little rough. I think overall it's been a good change. I haven't been performing, I guess, to the level that I hold myself to, or that my team was wanting from me.
Why is that?
I need to work on my cardio. Honestly, I'm still stuck in the idea of I'm a king, and I only have to fight usually 1, maybe twice every match. Now it's stepping it up a lot more.
Well, the king's not traditionally fighting really went out the window with this match, with Nora's just incredible fight with Phil Montgomery.
Yeah, that was a nail biter. We down to the last minute, and that was a long fight. 5 minutes with small sword technique it'll melt your brain having to focus on all those things. But Nora's up to it, and she pulled it off.
One of the interesting things about that particular fight was the fact that king v king is actually an impossible thing in normal table chess. We had to introduce rules for it back in, I think it was 2000.
Yeah, it's been... And that's one of the things that I really love about the MCCL and human combat chess in general is you get these great personalities between the two kings, and you finally get to see them physically expressed when they do battle.
So, are you enjoying being able to step away from the more administrative side of the game?
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons that I wanted to step down from being king is I'm not a chess player, I'm not a manager, I'm a fighter. That's what I do, I fight. And I like training people to fight. So when I was king, I could be that sort of player coach, but really that's not the position for me. I can still serve that position of helping people out on technique and training them. I can do that from the queen position, and it just gets me on the board. I can move around more, and I can get into more fights. I just need to be a little more prepared for it next season.
So, one of the questions in Nora's training style, has she been addressing the fact that the Legion seems incredibly injury-prone?
Well, that's we've got the best doctors in the league, in my opinion. They've got the practice of dealing with injuries. We got people injured, but they don't stay on the DL for too long. It's part of it's we go hard, we go full bore all the time. We're not a hesitant or a defensive team. We like to put on a good show, and we like to win, and we'll do a lot to get that.
So have you been getting any shit from the other teams about being a male queen under a female king?
A little, but that usually stops when it actually put a sword in my hand.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks.
Next week, we are down to the final week. Corsairs and the Dragons fight it out for first place, and two teams still vying for fourth.
The Cavaliers are playing the Roses, and it should be a guaranteed victory for the Cavaliers. If the Celts beat the Legion, it will give the Cavaliers the fourth place they need to qualify for the postseason.
Celts, Corsairs, and Dragons are all definitely in the postseason, so it should be a strong end to the season. Boards and swords. Words. Mike, golf carts and maps. Mark Rasmussen.